Hello, I'm Citrus, and you're looking at the Master Grade Ball Ver.Ka. This kit was released in December 2004 for 2,000 Japanese yen as the third kit in the Master Grade Ver.Ka series, following the perennial RX-78-2 and the Endless Waltz Wing Gundam. So far, it is also the first and only standalone vehicle in the Master Grade line. A few other Master Grade vehicles would come along later, but only ones that could function as accessories for a companion mobile suit. Several variations followed the original release, starting with the Type K ball from 08th MS Team in May 2005, the Shark Mouth ball from MS Igloo in August 2006, and the Polypod ball in August 2018, which came from a Build Divers spin-off. The Gundam Base exclusive Mechanical Clear ball, released in September 2021, is nearly identical to today's subject, but the most interesting variant is probably the Factory Image Color ball. This was released through Bandai-partnered Pro Shop hobby stores in June 2010 for 3,000 Japanese yen, featuring two armor sets in different colors and the combined parts and decals from the Type K ball and the Shark Mouth ball for you to customize as you like. We might come back to this another time because we're looking at another version that also features two sets of armor. This kit was released in February 2010 as part of the limited time Master Grade Clear Parts campaign for Gunpla's 30th anniversary. Every kit in the campaign includes a bonus clear runner and was released at their normal box price in standard retail. I think Bandai stopped printing campaign kits in 2011, but by my recollection they only started to disappear from store shelves by 2013 or so. Many of these kits were printed in large numbers, so they were not much more valuable than their normal versions for several years. Their increasing rarity started to push up prices during the pandemic-driven gunpla boom, but popular kits saw their prices soar even before then. Against a retail price of 2,000 Japanese yen, I'm not proud to say that I paid about $58 with shipping for mine in August 2015. This example was printed in July 2010. From what I've seen, a quirk of this kit is that the D-runner often, if not always, comes in the box without a bag. The ball's clear runner is the A runner, which contains all the accent and armor parts, so you effectively get a customizable mechanical clear kit that beautifully shows off the deliciously rich, sculpted details of its body. The frame parts on the B runner and the manipulator arms on the D runner are ABS. Everything else is polystyrene. The C runner has parts for the 180mm cannon, 3 pilot figures, and some more detail parts. The E runner is the display pedestal. The F1 runner contains polycaps and boots for the manipulator arms. For added detail, metal rods and a thin wire are also included. The stickers and dry transfer decals are quite generous, and the manual offers some pictures and information about the ball and the kit, but it is predictably thin for a relatively simple release such as this. Common to other kits of the time are a code card for the now defunct Club MG rewards program, and a special replacement parts order form for just a clear runner, informing the customer that replacements will be supported until the end of January 2012. Okay. At this point, we're basically done. Here it is next to the Master Grade RX-78 version 3.0. And here are all the colors I used this time. For contrast, I used only 5 of the Galeri metallic set. At the very back is zirconium black. On top we have some flashy gold, copper, I believe it's aluminum, stainless steel, and yeah, I think the overall effect is pretty good. The only other colors that I had to use is Char's Pink to color match the insides of these little thrusters to the ones up here, which as you can see is red plastic on the inside. And of course I painted the frame here in 30mm green, which I think offsets the red and the gray pretty nicely as a color kind of in the middle. There's really not much to it aside from, you know, all the sculpted detail. The cannon can rotate, go up and down, and you have a ball joint at the base of the arm, one pivot here, another pivot at the base of each of the 4 arm sections, another pivot at the tip of the claw. You could technically rotate these because they're just a round peg that goes into the cylinder, but the ABS is very, very tight and creaky, and it took a lot of physical effort to even seat them in the first place. You can see on this one I cracked the plastic trying to push it into place, and I smudged the sticker pretty bad as well because I put all the panel lining on beforehand, of course. Yeah, just not a super fun time with the claws, but otherwise it's not too bad. And of course, gimmick wise, you have these little wires at the top of the claw there, and these bars on the arm are metal, which is cool. It looks like it technically extends into there as well, but you can see the diameter is a little bit thinner. If you're super patient and good at masking, I guess you could paint that in yourself. And yeah, it's the kind of kit that you could either spend maybe 30 minutes on putting all together because there aren't that many parts, or you can spend 3 months, which is basically how long it took me. Although, of course, if I was a little bit more efficient, I'm sure I could have finished it in a little bit less time than that. Little pilot with the screen there. Looks pretty good. One of the few gunpla kits, I think, that has a cockpit with a window you can see through. So this is basically the full inner frame exposed. This bottom piece of armor is necessary to hold the arms to the body. Without it, there's really nothing holding the whole thing together. You also need it in order to give the base enough of a surface for these prongs to attach to, so they can sit on the base securely. If I take it off, you can see that the area where that piece covers, you're not really hiding much with it anyway. So pretty much all of it is on display with just the top armor removed. Although of course there is this little engine down here. The clear parts technically include pieces for this bit, the cylinders that the arms attach to, but there's nothing inside of them. So if you use the clear piece there, you just see a bar that runs across, which is not much to look at really. Unfortunately, messed up pretty bad. I'm not really sure what happened during the applying the clear gloss. You can see on the dry transfer stick decals kind of what it's supposed to look like, but on the plastic itself, the paint kind of just pilled up and gave it this texture. For what it's worth, the plastic to begin with wasn't super clear. You can see here on the runner that, of course, it's a little bit translucent, but this is definitely not the shiny finish that I had wanted to achieve. On the inside, I went to the trouble of lining all of the sculpted details, partially because if you line it in a darker color, like in brown or gray or something like that, when the light comes through the part from the outside, it reflects around a little bit less and it makes it easier to see the details on the inside. But now, given how foggy these look, well, let's just see what the effect is after we put it together. Alright, and there's the ball with my clear parts. I guess the effect is still interesting. It's just not what I expected or intended to do at all. My motivation in the first place was that I got a spare set of the decals for this kit from another builder years and years ago. I don't even remember how long now. So I thought it'd be cool to put them on the clear parts, you know, because you normally in a kit you only get one set of decals. For a kit like this, you kind of have to choose where you want to use them. Since I had two sets, I thought, well, I might as well put them on the clear parts because that'll look super cool, right? And then I thought, well, I want to protect my work, so I should clear coat it. And I checked the can so many times. It was definitely the gloss clear, but something went horribly wrong with the texture. And like now, you know, given like the dark color of the frame underneath it and the gray, which I didn't really, the gray of the decals I didn't really think about, it's pretty hard to even see them on here, unfortunately. So yeah, part of me feels like I kind of ruined it for nothing, but you know, there's probably no other ball that looks like this out there. And for completion, of course, there's the regular set 2. All right, and taking off the armor is not too bad. Just got to be careful with it. The worst piece for me is always this bottom piece to take off. It just grips onto the sides really hard. But if you take your time and just be gentle, you shouldn't break anything. Most of the rest of this stuff is all designed to come off. And as you saw with the armor off, there are decals that you put on the frame, so clearly that was part of the intent. And speaking of decals, you can see them a bit better now on the gray, so let's talk about them. Normally, I'm a huge fan of making use of everything that the kit gives you, and that means using the included decals on the kit as well, as much as possible, usually. And this is a situation where I really can't recommend it at all. So first, all of the gray decals that you see on the kit are dry transfers, and normally that's fine. They have to go across a lot of curved surfaces. Some of them are quite large, like this one and that one, this one here, and this one here as well. And not having that like extra edge on the side to worry about does make them look pretty nice. The problem is that they don't compensate for the curvature of the spherical surface that they're going on. So even though on the paper this like Earth Federation Space Force decal is straight, when you apply it onto the sphere, it has to curve along with the surface of the sphere, so it ends up looking like it's bent down. And the decal is long enough that there's really nowhere where you can place it that it won't go wonky in some direction or other. And the thing is, there is the shark mouth ball, and that has a decal that goes across the entire face of the ball. And for the most part, that decal does compensate for the curvature. So I guess maybe this was just a design oversight when this kit was made in the first place, and they just never bothered to fix it. So aside from the shape of the graphics, nothing wrong with the dry transfers on this kit as a concept. On the other hand, the clear stickers that you see everywhere, they are atrocious. The graphics are all white, as are the numbers on the stickers sheet, so it's really hard to see them unless you're on like really bright light. And a lot of them have to fit into places where they're pretty close to the edge of something. The margins on these stickers are enormous. Most of them are cut in such a way so that the graphic is not centered. So to be able to get a good fit out of any of these clear stickers, which is all of the white graphics that you can see on the arm, on the cannon, you have to trim every single one of them. A particularly heinous one is this one near the cockpit that's yellow, which by itself would be a gigantic square. If you were to try to put that onto the piece just by itself, again, spherical surface, remember, it'll buckle in like 3 different directions and it's just going to look awful. So a ton of effort that you have to exert for a result that still can look okay. I think it doesn't look too bad on mine. But you know, for the same effort, you really could just use water slide decals and get a better looking result that is easier to achieve. And aside from that, it's not very much like typical gunpla. It contains a surprising amount of texture parts, especially for the price. It's almost comparable in some ways to like high-end aircraft or naval or armor models that might include like rubber boots, metal rods, etchings, very fine wires. But it's not very often you'll find those things in a kit that costs only 2,000 yen. And once you finish putting it together, there's no emphasis on movement or mechanical gimmicks. The creaky ABS joints have hardly any articulation, so the final product is more intended for display than play. For me, the fun of this kit was bringing it to life. Maybe that's not the right phrase since the subject is a machine and not a living thing, but coloring in the details imbues it with imagination. Why is a particular area or pipe a certain color? What material would it be made from? What could it be covering, or what might flow through it? A bit more interesting than just thinking, what looks the most stylish? Fortunately, for my own peace of mind, and for those of you who don't want to pay the premium for this kit or the Gundam-based mechanical clear version, the clear parts are almost redundant. The armor is already designed to be easily removable to showcase all the sculpted details. The shape of the ball is simple and self-evident. It doesn't really need armor to finish the image. And even when equipped, the clear parts kind of just obscure the view. For those reasons, I think the clear parts are definitely not worth the extra price for most people, especially when the base kit is already so interesting on its own. The normal kit is the best value, for sure. Thanks to Galeri for sending me the metallic markers that I used in this build. If you like them, you can click on the affiliate link in the pinned comment below and save yourself a little bit of money. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.